What's that? I know, yeah. Everybody's happy. We have donuts. All right, so we're gonna jump in. I wasn't able to do my communion in 2 minutes, so we are running a little bit behind. So we're gonna jump in. The current time is 11:01, so we're gonna do to 11:20-ish. All right, here is a handout. If we could take one per family or one per person, so husbands and wives share, everybody else gets one. What we want to talk about is living a hospitable life. Like we talked about before, the Greek word for hospitality is philioxenas. How do we love strangers, people that we don't currently know? A lot of challenges in that, but we want to talk about the practicals of how to do it. It was interesting. I meant to say this, but it somehow slipped my mind. There's no other thing that or skill that we train people by saying, just go hang out with those people for a while, right? We don't tell our doctors, just go hang out with some doctors and hope that we become good doctors. That's a terrible idea, right? Or our accountants. We don't say, just go hang out with some accountants. No, there's training. There's clear how to practically accomplish this, right? Jesus understood that. He trained people practically. We failed as a church to do this. We talk a lot about doing these things, but we haven't really equipped people. How do I actually follow through and live this out? And that's what this is about. Sound good? All right, so let's talk about living a hospitable life or a life of hospitality. I want to talk about two types of hospitality today. The first one is inviting them into your heart, and the second one is inviting them into your home. Okay? Let's start with inviting them into your heart. Proverbs 18:1 says, an unfriendly person pursues selfish ends. What do you guys think that means?
Pursue ways to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Which causes you to just not be friendly. You don't care about other people's feelings, thoughts, needs. Yeah. And so here, this concept of being friendly, being a developer of friends, is about selfishness, right?
Usually selfish people are one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay. And so let's talk about some practicals of how to develop friendships. The first one is intentionality. Be aware of the people around you.
I was going to say, for me, I feel like I have to open my eyes in order to open my heart. And what I mean by that is actually seeing the people around me. And like I like going for walks in my neighborhood, and it's like a refreshing time for me. It's really easy to go on the walk in my neighborhood and just not pay attention to the people around me. Like my neighbors that are out, like I can just completely disengage even just what I see. And if I'm not opening my eyes to the people around me, there's no way for my heart to be opened. And I was thinking about even just some practical things like in the fellowship, like opening my eyes, just coming into church in the fellowship, like who do I see around me, and am I opening my heart to those in neighborhoods, workplaces, like all of these things. I think like Rich talked about earlier, COVID made all this work. It was like you kind of pretended like you didn't see people because it was like we shouldn't talk to people, and we've got like, the mask like this, and you can barely see. And I feel like this is a reset for me to open my eyes to the people around me.
Good thought. This is cool. I just thought of this, but asking the Lord of the harvest. When we ask the Lord of the harvest to send out workers, it reminds us, oh, hey, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? And so even praying intentionally that God open our eyes to see the people around us so we can open our heart to them. Which is the second part, introductions. How many people love introducing themselves to new people? The extroverts are like, yeah, this is going to be the funnest part of the day, meet new people. Everybody else is like, oh man, here we go. So, but we need to become experts at introducing ourselves to people.
Yeah.
When you go into a room, most people are insecure and thinking about themselves, right? Somebody has to be that person.
Yeah.
We've got to be that person. Does that make sense? And so some practicals of this, body language, smile. Seems simple enough, but there's a big difference between, hi, I'm Rich, versus, hey, I'm Rich. You know what I mean? One person you want to run away from, the other one, same guy, you know what I mean? But smile. Look people in the eyes.
Yeah.
Once again, looking down at the ground. You know what I mean? Look people in the eyes. Speak confidently, right? And then the other thing is like firm handshakes or fist bumps or whatever it is. But approach the person confidently, warmly, lovingly. Okay? Here's what we're going to do. Everybody stand up and practice introducing yourself to each other in a horrible way. Yeah, do it the worst way you could possibly imagine. Everybody grab a partner and introduce yourself. Everybody got a partner? There you Okay. Now everybody practice doing it well. That's a little too handsy. Oh, okay, great. All right, everybody sit down. So it's a funny exercise. All right. We can slide them over there to the pregnancy section. All right. So let's talk about it a little bit. What was the difference between the two when someone does it poorly versus someone does it well? How does it feel? And it,
Yeah.
I mean, I was new coming here just the other, just a couple weeks ago, and this church, thumbs up.
Oh, thank you. That's very
I
kind.
mean, Pastor Rich and, Amanda,
Yeah.
I mean, you just welcomed me and Dawn, and,
Angie.
I'm trying to teach you Greek.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need her so welcomed, and I wanted to come back. I just
Oh,
felt
good.
immediately
Thank you. I
a part.
appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good to hear. I find it, and this is a true confession, it's much easier here. I'm with all my people.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know what I mean? Even someone new, but out on the streets.
Yeah.
When I'm at my kid's soccer game.
Yeah, that's where you met me. Don't let him
Or-
fool you. Don't let him.
Or-
You met me out.
I did, yeah. Or at the store. You know what I mean? Like these different contexts that can be less natural, if you would. I think we've got to become those people in those contexts. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, and then the last part is invitations. Finding common interests, common ways to connect, those kind of things. Do things you're already doing. This is not about adding stuff to our schedules necessarily. It's about adding people into our schedules.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So you're already eating, eat with people. You're already working out or painting. I don't know what your hobbies are, knitting or... Oh, we had this funny thing. We went to go study the Bible at a coffee shop and we walked in and it was a knitting group. The whole place was yarn everywhere. We were like, what have we just walked into? It's like an alternative universe. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was really funny. So anyway, the point being, friendships develop through invitations. Okay? And we've got to become experts at finding ways to invite and connect with people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Which leads to the next part, which is invite them into your home. And you'll see home is in quotes. I want Mandy to explain that.
Well, one of the things that I was thinking about this morning is Jesus didn't actually have a home, right? And yet, I think we would all agree Jesus was like the most hospitable person that walked the earth. I mean, love of strangers. And so we put home in quotes because perhaps for some of us, inviting people into our home isn't logistic right now. Like we don't have the space or our living situation isn't ideal. That is okay. Our home can be the park. Our home can be a coffee shop. Our home can be whatever it is. I think about all the places that Jesus met people and spent time with people. He wasn't limited in his hospitality because he didn't have the ideal space.
Yeah.
So
Good thought. Good thought. Okay, so let's talk about some practicals. The first one is intentionally planning hospitality. Create a rhythm of hospitality in your life and in your schedule. Something like maybe bi-monthly dinners, where twice a month you want to invite people into your home. And so it's on your mind, on your radar as you're planning. The other thought is to quarterly do event type things, cookouts or football parties, bonfires, game nights, where you can invite groups to be together. But become an expert at intentionally planning hospitality into your schedule. Does that make sense? We did for a while. This is so helpful because for a while we used to do Thursdays were hospitality Thursdays. And we would just always have people in our house on Thursdays. And then COVID happened. And now Thursdays is, I don't know, Netflix Thursdays. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, could do whatever. But we've lost that. And so I was excited about this point personally, about getting intentional again, about being hospitable through our scheduling. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about intentionally.
Can I just say this?
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think for some of these bigger things, it's even great to team up with others. The Johnsons used to live on our street.
So
They did this
good.
really cool event. They used to have this massive tree in their backyard.
Yep.
I mean, huge. Everybody in the neighborhood knows this tree. Well, they got the great idea to light this tree, and they hosted a neighborhood tree lighting party
For Christmas.
Yeah. And people brought cookies and cider, but they asked us, can you team up with us on this? So we invited the neighbors that were down our way. They invited their neighbors.
Yeah.
We did this thing together. It was so
packed.
well, it was packed, so well attended. But sometimes some of these things can feel a little intimidating or daunting to kind of do just ourselves. Team up together
grab your
to
small
make
group.
these kind of things great.
Oh, that's awesome. Good thought. Okay, intentionally practicing hospitality. So the first part is you have to invite people. How do you invite someone into your home? A couple of practicals. We've already talked about the conducive to life stage. Anyway, I'm messing that up. Anyway, so first thing, set up a date and time. Work out the scheduling. Ask if they have dietary restrictions. Ask them to bring something as part of the meal, usually like a salad or dessert, not the main course. Send them your address. Does that make sense? You text them where you live, as well as tell them where to park. In West Virginia, parking wild. You know what I mean? And so the more you can give them information to help them feel secure, the better experience it's going to be. So those are all things that are part of the invitation process, is be clear about when, where, all that kind of stuff. Okay? Anything about that?
Nope.
Okay, let's talk about prep before they arrive. And the first thing I want to talk about is prepping your kids.
Okay. And so for those of us that have kids, we always tried to let our kids know what was happening. Like, tonight we're having so-and-so over for dinner. And we would have them help us get the house ready. We would tell them who was coming. We would tell them they have kids too. What toys do you think you can share with them? What could you play with them? We would go through the whole thing with them. And they loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of their favorite nights. Actually, our kids would ask us every day who's
Yes.
coming tonight. We're not having people every day, but they just loved it. And I think it is really important to bring our kids into this part of it.
Yeah. Okay, more practicals. Clean your house. Clean your house up. Make it nice. We just want to lay out all the practicals. You know what I mean? Some people know that, but we just want to make sure everybody knows. Dress nice. It's not formal, not black tie, unless a black tie is what you're hosting. Make sure they know that. But you know what I mean? No pajamas and that kind of thing. Dress nice. Prepare a simple meal. This is where we learned the power of the crock pot. Throw some chicken in there, throw some seasoning in there, done. Make some rice. I mean, this is we are simple. That took 10 minutes of our time to practice hospitality. You with me? And so find simple meals.
Yeah. And ask people for great, inexpensive, simple recipes that feed a lot of people.
Yes.
We have a lot of wonderful people who are used to cooking and practicing hospitality. Don't be afraid to ask for recipes.
Yeah. A couple of other things. Turn on lights. Coming into a dark place is not welcoming. So make sure that it's lit. I turn on every light in the house when people are coming over. I want it to be like, bah! So turn on lights, open windows, turn on light music. You know what I mean? Like background music, jazz or something like that. Light a candle, make it smell pretty in there. And then the last one is close all screens. Okay, put away all phones, turn off the television, unless it's like a watching party. You're watching the Grammys together, you're watching football, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Outside of that, turn off all screens, put them away so you can focus on people. Okay? So that's all prep stuff. Once they arrive, the first thing is about greeting them warmly. I'm supposed to say this part, right? Yeah.
This and this before.
Right. Okay. Syncing up. Okay. It's interesting. There's a story where Jesus actually experiences hospitality, where it's Jesus and Simon the Pharisee, right? Do you remember what Jesus said to Simon? I came into your home. You didn't give me a kiss. This woman kissed my feet. You didn't wash my feet. This woman washed them with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You didn't. This woman did. The thing that he noticed was how he was greeted in hospitality. So we can invite people into our home, but how we greet them matters, whether they feel loved or not. You with me? And so what are some of the things that make we've all had good and bad experiences. What are some of the things that make you feel welcome when you come into somebody's home?
Meeting them at the door.
There you go.
Everybody.
Yeah. So good. Meet them at the door, right?
Yeah.
Which that's one of the things we would prepare our kids to do.
Yeah.
When people get here, we go to the door and we say hello to them. Does that make sense? So we train them how to do that stuff. So great thought. Anything else?
Just energy.
Energy. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Like the tone of the home, the feel is joy and happiness,
Yeah.
and right? That's a great thought. Thank you for that. Any others?
I think immediately like serving them, like asking them if they want a drink.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, here's the couch if you'd like to take a seat.
Yes.
Quick little tour, like this is where you can sit.
Oh, you're taking all my material. Good stuff. So offering them a drink, right?
Yeah.
If it's the winter, can I take your coat? Can I hang up your coat,
Yeah.
right? And then here, would you like to sit here?
Yeah.
Would you like a drink?
Show them like
Perfect.
the coolest feature of your house immediately.
Oh man, you guys are taking all my good stuff.
So good. That's why we did it.
I know.
Real quick, let's come over here.
Yeah. That's it. It's so good. Give them a tour of your home so they feel at home, right? And the cool things, you get to share part of yourself. Our kids would be so excited to share their rooms with people, and oh, look at this. And for a while, Kiara had a zoo in her room, so it was always like part of the tour to go visit the reptile room of our house. You know what I mean? I always like to show off my gym downstairs. Here's my little man world down here. Here's my workout cave. Like inviting people into your life by giving them a tour of your home is meaningful. Then they understand where they are and that they're welcomed in your home. Great thought. Thank you, Jacob. Yeah.
That was the accountant in me, but I also like to hey, it's gonna be about 10 more minutes before food.
Thank
so
you.
Let's. And then
Yes.
there's just a verbal little plan.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that?
No, that's something else.
Can you hold on? Can I say something about that real quick? Okay, great. So this is so good because when someone comes into your home, they feel insecure. So the more information you can give them, where to go, where to sit, what the plan is. Dinner's going to be about 10 minutes. We're going to sit around the table here. Mandy and I will sit here. The kids will sit here. You can sit here. Your kids can sit there. Everybody knows where to sit. Here's our plan for the night. We're going to have dinner. Then the kids are going to be able to play in the playroom. We'll have dessert up front here and play a game or something. Everybody knows what's going on, where they should be, where they should sit. The more information you can give, the more it takes away the insecurity of being in a new environment. Does that make sense? If you guys come over, I may not do that as much because whatever, you guys are you guys. You know what I mean? But like if it's somebody new, you want to do away with all the awkwardness and the insecurity. So great thought. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say being happy that they're there.
Oh
'Cause,
yes.
like sometimes you can be relaxed.
Yeah.
Hey, come on in. We're just chilling out.
or like, hey, it's good to see you, and
Yeah.
like showing happiness that
Yes.
someone has arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Feel good.
awesome. Like the energy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
spirit you bring. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's
And teaching your kids how to do that. So yeah.
If I could add to that specifically.
Yeah.
We, not this past year, but the year before, we hosted the Friendsgiving at our house, and it was very stressful. And I think this past year we did it, but we wanted to be guests.
Yeah.
At the thing as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Even
that's
though
a
we
good
really
thought.
hosted it,
Yeah.
Because whereas like the previous year, we feel like we just had a bunch of nervous energy. 'Cause we were
Yeah.
like trying to run everything.
Yep. Yeah.
Whereas last year it was like, everything's done.
Oh, that's so
And
good.
You can enjoy being
we
with
can be
people.
present with everyone.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's
Thanks
so
for
good.
sharing that. How to host and be present. Mary Martha kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we're running short on time. Okay, we're running short on time. That would be I would love to hear your thought, but we got to finish. Okay.
Share that little shout out.
Yes, go ahead,
Okay.
share your shout out.
I was going to share, we went recently over to Rory and Rashawn's house for dinner, and it was just amazing. Millie met us at the door, was like so happy for us to come. I think she even asked us if we want a drink. I mean, it
was
was
so cool.
like, it was like the best way to be
Yeah,
welcomed
yeah.
with kids involved, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. It was
Yeah,
awesome. So
Conversely, I went into a situation recently where I walked in, the people did not get up off the couch. They sat there continuing to watch TV. I just stood there in the living room, not knowing what to do, where to sit. It was like no disciple. No, everyone's like, who did that? nobody you know. But it was like it was a very hard situation. Does that make sense? And so this really is powerful, us doing this. Okay, a couple of other practicals. Over dinner, explain the food plan. Like, hey, we're all going to sit here. We'll have the food at the table. We'll, pass it around. Or do we stand up, make plates, whatever it is. Say a prayer together. Okay, seems like a no-brainer, but it's an important part. You're welcoming into your family. They should also know your family's faith. No screens. No screens. All right, put the phones away. We're there to be with people, right? Ask questions to get to know them. You're getting ready to go into a whole class about how to ask questions and develop friendships through questions. So talk and ask questions, getting to know them. And then invite them to join family traditions as appropriate. Am I sharing this or are you sharing it?
it doesn't matter.
So one of the things our family does is we do a thing called high point, low point, where we share every day what was our high point of the day, we share what our low point was, and we share our God moment, where we saw God that day. And our kids have done this since they were little. And so when people come to our home, if it's appropriate, we'll say, hey, here's our tradition. We share a high point, we share a low point in a moment where we saw God. And we invite them to be a part of our family tradition. We also play cards at dinner a lot. So we'll say, hey, we have this little game we play. You want to play it? Whatever, that kind of stuff, if it's appropriate. Other suggestions, play a game over dessert, do a group activity. We have to end, so we can't really open it up for suggestions. Lastly, here's our challenge, okay? Create and execute a summer hospitality plan, okay? How can you begin to implement these practices in your life? For some, this is a reset. I very much feel that. I've got to get back to doing this. For some, this is new. It's different. And for all of us, it does take that death to self, to not be selfish, and to follow Jesus' example. But God works through this kind of love in powerful ways. Amen? Cool. All right. It is time to switch. Thank you, guys.